Hello and welcome back to a chip off the old block toys. This is Jeff here, and today we are going to start building uh, Lego set 71799, which is the Ninjago City Markets. This set I built it before on the channel, but I also wrecked it. And they came out with a new Ninjago, and I have it, and I am going to build it, but I want to have my other Ninjago sets set up so I could do a comparison side by side of the different things. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is building that over the next couple days. And I'm trying a different time slot than my usual time slot, just that I know that people are on different times, and I'm hoping that I can, catch different people at different times. And hello, Greg. Speaking of people, how you doing? And let's go ahead and start the build. I don't know how far we're going to get today. I do have pieces laid out on the table, quite a few. So we're going to at least go that far. And you'll have to forgive me because they have changed the button since I last looked at this stream yard. So I'm not familiar with what's on here. Anyway, this is what we got. We got a blank slate. Shall we get started? Just got out of the dentist. Awesome, dude. How'd that go, by the way? I just did the dentist. Oh man, what was that? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. I went to the dentist here. Yeah. So let me start off, and I know Greg knows me, but this is for anybody else who doesn't know me very well or doesn't know me at all. My name is Jeff in real life. I go by Chip or Jeff or Hey You. Sometimes I go by Jerk, depending on who I'm talking to. But anyway, what it is that I grew up in a Navy family, I should say. And my dad's retired Navy. And I've moved around a lot because of him being in the military, and now my wife currently is in the military. So we've moved around quite a bit, and I've had a lot of opportunities to see different parts of the world, which I appreciate. When we lived in Germany for 3 years. I like to think of myself as a city boy who's trying to fake it as a country boy. And the reason for that is everywhere I've ever lived has had a million people. And I really mean that literally. And hello, John, how you doing? And this is the first place I've ever lived where, let's just say the closest town. I don't even live in a town, first of all. And second of all, the closest town only has 2,299 people. So 2,300 basically. So it's been quite the trip to get used to being out here. And this is the first time in my life that I've ever owned chickens. This is the first time in my life that I've had more than a quarter acre. It's been a little bit weird. And John, how'd it go? I heard you picked up your dog yesterday. You were going to pick up your dog. How did that go, man? So yeah, I'm not used to a lot of different things being in the countries. Hey, Metamamba, how you doing? I am building the Ninjago City Markets, set number 71799. Oh, John, I meant in this house. You're right. I've had chickens before on this house, but I was talking about having chickens in this house. This is my first time trying to fake it as a country boy. She's sleeping. He is sleeping. That's awesome, dude. So how was the drive, man? Because you were telling me it was like 4-hour drive. How did all that go? And this is going to be fun because this is oh, it actually went through. Never mind. I thought it was going to be a lot funner than that because these pins, they don't really have anything at all. They're just kind of flat, and sometimes they're hard to apply. So John says long and hard, not sure. Jet lag exists for long drives, not fatigue. Yeah, you know something, John. I can definitely relate to that. Whenever I drive long distances, I have trouble staying awake too, and not only that, but afterwards, I feel like I'm like wiped out, and it's like, well, what did I do? Nothing. And I'm not saying you didn't do nothing. I'm saying I say I do nothing. Anyway, which actually I kind of found like Foghorn Leghorn there, the old rooster on Looney Tunes, and I was watching a video the other day, really kind of weird. The guy who does the voice for Foghorn Leghorn also does Yosemite Sam. He does Tweety Bird. I'm trying to remember all the ones. The Daffy Duck, and he does a ton. The car handled like a champ. Yeah, I know that's kind of been a concern of yours because your car's getting a little older, with a lot more miles. Kind of like my truck, man. So anyway, I hope this build gets easier for me because I spent a lot of time yesterday setting up these pieces because since I've already built it, it was just in one giant bag, and I had to bust out an extra table and stick it over there to my right, and just had to comb through it to grab the pieces to do this because I didn't want to comb through pieces while I was building. It's too loud and it's not that interesting. So, but John says his car handled perfectly. That's awesome, dude. Awesome. Yeah, let's see. Now this set is hello Wow Art 10, how you doing? This set's really interesting. It actually has a real flushing toilet when it's done. Kind of bathroom humor, haha. But yeah, no, I like it. And building it the first time was fun. The toilet actually worked, and I like Ninjago only because, well, they're kind of like out there, to be honest. The Ninjago builds, they don't follow any sort of format. Because, like City has to represent real life and that kind of stuff. And, you get some fantasy and space and castle and stuff. But even castle, they can't stray too far from certain things that happened, back in the medieval times. But Ninjago is purely fantasy. And so the buildings don't have to make sense. They can be wild and extravagant, which I think they are, that's what I like about them. And I love Ninjago. It's my favorite show. That's cool, dude. Awesome. Yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry, I do talk to myself occasionally. I just promise not to argue with myself on camera. That's all. I'll let the arguing happen later when Mrs. Chip's around. I'm joking. For those who don't know, Mrs. Chip is my wife of almost 29 years, and I like to tell jokes. A lot of them are crazy, and I've got one for you guys, so I'll do this. And then remember, they're just jokes. So my joke is, I started dating a new woman recently, and it came time to that she felt comfortable for me to meet her kids. And so before I met her kids, she told me, hey, I just want to let you know that all my kids have ADD. And I asked her, does that mean all different daddies? And yep, that's when the fight began. I built a 1,000-piece set off. 1,000-piece set off the set of a drag. Awesome. If you want, I've got a Facebook page, and I believe it's in the description. You are always welcome to post pictures there. I also have an Instagram, but I don't think you can post pictures there. I think you can only do it on the Facebook page. And the link's in the description if I did it right, and I think I did. Oh boy, I forgot. I did not grab those flowers, but they're right over here. I know exactly where they're at. And also, I wanted to tell you guys, I was talking to Mrs. Chip the other day, and we kind of argued a little bit. This is a joke, and I realized that during the argument, she was. I was telling her that it only takes one person to ruin the relationship, and being the person she is, she gently reminded me that it takes two to ruin a relationship. So I told her, yes, you're right. So I blame her and her mother for raising her that way. Now, if Mrs. Chip was here, she'd probably hit me over the head with the rolling pin or something. But she ain't here right now. No, I'm just kidding. I would tell these jokes whether she's here or not. That's one dynamic of my relationship with her that has never faltered, is a sense of humor. We joke a lot, and we joke about each other to each other a lot, and that's just something that we've always done. So. And this next joke I'm going to tell you is actually one of Mrs. Chip's favorites. Because Mrs. Chip, before she had gray hair, she had blonde hair. And the joke is, do you know why? Do you know why blonde jokes are one-liners? Well, the answer is so men can remember them. That's why. And this next joke I have for you, it's mainly because Mrs. Chip's dad, he's a police officer, has been for many years. And, well, anyway, here's the joke. The other night, I was driving and I got pulled over. Cop comes up to my window and says, "Sir, have you been drinking?" And I looked at her, my wife next to me, looked at him, and I said, "If I was sober, you think I'd bring this woman home?" And the cop says, "Fair enough, sir. Have a good night." Anyway. And I will also say, as you guys know, I turned 50 last month. And I've been trying to make things better for myself, especially health-wise. I know I haven't taken care of myself the way that I should, and that's going to change. And how that's changing for me is that last week I worked out 4 times. Yes, I am a little sore, but it definitely did things for me. I was able to lose 3 pounds last week. And what I did was I alternated days. One day I would do like legs. The other day I would do the upper body. And it worked out really well for me. And I want to continue this because like yesterday was my granddaughter's birthday, for instance. And I love talking to her. And I would just like to be around when she graduates high school, and she's only 7 now. But I just want to take care of myself better. And last week was a great start. I need to keep it up. And John says, nope, because I can smell your breath. Talking about the traffic stop joke. All right. Well, if you can smell my breath through the screen, I'd, number one, be amazed, but number two, feel extremely sorry for you. Sorry. Well, let's talk about the channel. I'm currently trying to break the world's record for the largest Lego city. And, I'm short money, I'm short time. I'm not short ideas, but I am short all those other things. And I'm trying to get there. And as part of that, I work on it every chance I get, which is almost every day. And yesterday was no exception. Now, I did release a video this morning of Lego City Update. And I did not expect to make this video today or do a live stream. I just kind of thought about it at the last minute. As you can tell, it just kind of popped up. But anyway, I did work on the city yesterday, and I will have a video because I did more than what the video that was released today. I've done more than that. So I was working on the beach, which I didn't directly copy anybody off of YouTube. I watched a couple. I had my own design, first of all, and then I watched 2 other channels and saw how they did the water. And after seeing how they did the water, I adjusted it so it has a blend of my original idea and 2 other channels. So it's quite interesting. And it says 2 of these, but I don't see where the other one goes. Let me scan just a little bit here. Nope. All right, we got an extra flower. It's all right. A little extra flour just makes it dry. That's all. Oh, no, wrong kind of flour. And Wow Art says my dad is 52. Well, I think it's awesome, man. I just turned 50, man, and I'll tell you what. I had my good friend. I've known him since we were toddlers, and my friend asked me. He says, "So does it feel any different to be 50?" And he asked me on my birthday. He called me up, and I said, "Well, Brian, no, it feels no different to be 50. I hurt the same, just like I did yesterday when I was 49." And it is true. I wake up with several things hurting, which is another reason I want to start working out. And speaking of hurting, I hurt like something I won't say. While I was setting out these pieces last night, I know this is going to sound weird, but I kind of got stuck to the chair a little bit because I was sweaty up here because even though it was past dark, the what you call it, it was just really hot and humid up here. And I have these pleather chairs, and my pleather chair decided to stick to me, literally. I'm not kidding. So when I got up, the chair moved with me, and I ended up falling. And I took a really hard fall on the floor. And I've got a couple bruises on my leg from that. And, I hurt like something I won't say because I never know who my audience is, and I don't want to offend anybody. But yeah, you can guess what word I'm trying to use. I really do hurt from taking that tumble last night. But back to what I was saying, though, I did work on the city. I worked on, like I said, I combined my own idea blended it with others, and I came up with my own beach design. I think you guys are really going to like it. At least that's my hope. And I also started destroying the other side of the city. That's the original part, and I need those pieces. So I'm going to slide those over and work on that. And I'm just going to continue to work on stuff a little bit every day. And I hope to have a video to you once a week on the city. So far, I've been doing okay with that. I gotta admit, I really like this light blue tile for water. And I love how they have the green here, because if you've been to like the ocean versus the lake, yeah, there's a difference in the water. It's in the water. Okay. Ugh. Oh, and also this last Saturday, I went to my lug meeting, and at the lug meeting, things were cool, and we discussed our shows. We did a draft. A draft is where we buy a set, or the club buys a couple of the same set, and then what they do is you can buy into it, and then you can what they do is I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of way too much. Let me start over. We do a draft, and the draft is simply where they buy a set, and they piece it out. In other words, they open up all the stuff, all the boxes, and they put it in cups, the same set, pieces all over, and it takes up quite a bit. And what they do is, if you buy into it, you get a turn, and they go in organized turns, and you get to pick pieces from the set that you want and take them home and give them a good home, I hope. I did not do that part without having a job right now. I'm flat broke. So what I did was I went to the meeting, and then so there's custom builds. One guy built Bumblebee. And yes, there is already a Bumblebee, Lego set. However, this guy did his own version, and I like his version better. It's actually my friend Brent, who I've mentioned on this channel before. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this little pattern down right, because this is kind of weird. I do like it though. And then after that, Brent and I went out to eat, and then I went to Bunkster's Bricks, which is a secondhand Lego store, and then I went to Bricks and Minifigures, and I went ahead and did all that on Saturday, and it worked out really nicely. I really enjoyed the company of my fellow brothers in Legos. I was going to say in arms, but that would be offensive to the military, and I've never been in the military. I've just been around it my whole life. And actually, let me tell you about the parts. So when I got the Bunksters, I was really impressed. They had several of the pieces that I need for Mills plating, and so I went ahead and grabbed their box and filled it up, and it cost $20-something. I can't remember the exact amount. They gave me a bit of a discount on it. And then I went over around the corner. There's a Bricks and Minifigs. And the Bricks and Minifigs, I grabbed their small bag, and I also filled it with parts that I needed. So I had a really successful Saturday, because I was able to come home and put it on the city and expand it. So there you go. And I will tell you guys a quick story, or not so quick story, but I'll tell you a story. Like I said, I've been around the military my whole entire life, but I've never actually served in the military. And there's a reason for that. It's not that I didn't want to serve in the military. In fact, when I was 17 or 16, because I was in high school, I graduated when I was 16, by the way. I talked to a recruiter, and shortly after graduating high school, about 2 weeks, I turned 17, and I really wanted to join the military. I was pumped to join the military. I took the ASVAB, and I scored an 88 out of 90. and the average national average is only something like I can't remember. It's like 35. It's pretty low. So anyway, I scored really high on this thing, and I really wanted to join. And I was talking to him, and my recruiter, and I was starting to get a little discouraged because they weren't taking me too serious, because they kept telling me, "Oh, well, you scored a 88 on the ASVAB," and then I took their technical test, by the way, and I aced it, not one question wrong. And as soon as I aced that test, all they wanted to talk to me about was being a nuclear chemist on a nuclear submarine. And I did not want to be on a nuclear submarine. I mean, those guys disappear for months at a time. And no, I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to be in air traffic control or aircraft maintenance. I wanted to do something else. But they kept insisting that they knew what was better for me than I knew what I knew for myself, and that was getting kind of old. But I pushed forward, and I made it all the way to MEPS. And for those who don't know, MEPS is where they do the medical evaluation on you, and that was a problem for me. When I removed my shirt, it became obvious that I've had open heart surgery, and I did have open heart surgery at the age of 2. And so I've got a nice gnarly scar running all the way across my chest and my back for where they did the surgery. And the MEPS doctor was a little rude, and he was just like, "What the F is that?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I had surgery, as a kid because, and the guy was like, "Oh, we can't effing deal with that. Get the F out of here." And I was like, "Okay." And then my recruiter, when he heard that I got rejected from MEPS, he just became stone cold silent and wouldn't talk to me. He was pissed at me. And the only thing he said to me on the way home, and it was a 45-minute drive home, by the way, and he drove me there. So the only thing he said to me that whole entire trip was, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I was like, "You never asked." And then he didn't want anything to say to me after that. He was pissed off at me. But it's true, though. I never hid the fact that I had the heart surgery. I didn't even think to tell him because he never asked. He never asked about my health problems or anything. I think he just assumed that I was 16, 17 years old. And I mean, what kind of problems could you possibly have is probably what was going through his head. So we drove home in silence, or he drove me home in silence, and didn't say anything to me, not even have a good day or nothing. Just drops me off. And then, I thought I got rejected by the military. Well, I was rejected by the military, really. And, well, I didn't think I had a chance. So the next, week, I went over to the college. There was a college right next to my parents' house. When they no longer live there, but it's called Mission College in Santa Clara, California. And yeah, we sat there, and I enrolled in school, and I started going to college. I wasn't going to waste any time. I got rejected. Okay, I can deal with that. And out of the blue, and by the way, I signed up for a full load of classes, and out of the blue, 3 weeks later, here comes my recruiter on the phone. He calls me up, and he goes, "Hey, I got great news for you." And I said, "Okay, what's that?" And he goes, "Well, I got you a medical waiver. You can join the military." And I'm like, "Dude, you didn't tell me." And I got mad at him because, again, he's the one that got mad because I didn't tell him about my heart surgery, which he never asked about. And now I'm mad at him because I'm like, "Dude, you didn't even tell me that a waiver was possible." And I've never been, now that I've been around the military as an adult, Sure, I know waivers are. But I didn't know what they were. I didn't even know they existed back then. I was only 17 years old at the time. So I had no idea that he was even working on a waiver. I didn't even know what one was. And then he goes, yeah, I got you a waiver. And if you pack your bags, I'll pay for your hotel tonight. You can go to Basic tomorrow. And I was like, I ain't going to Basic. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, look, buddy, you did not communicate with me. You didn't tell me nothing. And I said, you were mad at me when I got rejected, and you did not tell me what you were going to do. I thought that this avenue was closed. And I said, I went ahead and I enrolled in a full load of college courses, and I'm currently taking college classes. And boy, was he mad at me. Oh, I went through all this effort. I said, I appreciate that, but you didn't communicate with me, and I was not going to sit around and just mope that I did not get in the military. So I moved on, buddy. And I never heard from him again. And so first the military rejected me, then I rejected them. And, you know, I do have a serious heart condition still to this day. They did repair it as a kid, but I've developed other problems. So joining the military probably wouldn't have been a good idea. I probably would have been med boarded out. But, you know, that's what you get when you don't communicate with people, though. I mean, like, I was just supposed to wait around and, like, hope this guy did something? Nah, man, that's not how I roll. You know, you got to just you got to take care of yourself, because ain't nobody going to take care of you. So, I was, like, less than impressed that he could not communicate with me that he was going to look into a waiver. So yeah, it just didn't work out for me. I didn't join the military. And, you know, Mrs. Chip, when I met her, she was not in the military. Mrs. Chip, we were married about 10 years when she joined. And for those who don't know how she joined, let me tell you that story. I was taking college classes again, because I didn't finish my degree, by the way, when I was 17. Life kind of got in the way, and started a family, and I kind of put the end to that. And well, I was going to college several years later, and while I was on a break, I was building some Legos downstairs in the basement. Imagine that. And while building Legos down in the basement, this radio commercial came on. And by the way, this was 2007. And so the war on terror was full blown. And I'm not getting political. I'm not going to talk about that part. Just telling you what was going on for time reference. And I was listening to the radio just for fun. And while I was listening to the radio, this commercial came on, and it was a recruiting commercial. And it says, oh yeah, you know, if you join the military right now, you know, we'll give you a sign-on bonus to $20,000 to $40,000. And I thought it was funny, so I called up Miss Chip, and I said, Miss Chip, I said, would you like to earn $20,000 to $40,000? And Mrs. Chip was like, yeah, sure. What do I got to do? I said, oh, you just join the military. And I thought it was funny. I really thought it was funny. And Mrs. Chip thought it was funny too. And I'm going to set this aside because we're going to be building a little building here. Miss Chip thought it was funny. We hung up, and I thought that was the end of it because I was just joking. Boy, I learned not to joke with her that day, because she calls me back a couple hours later after she had a break. And Mrs. Chip was like, hey, I'm meeting with a recruiter tonight. You coming? And I was like, you doing what? She goes, yeah, I'm meeting with a recruiter tonight. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you know what they do, right? They try to get you to join. And she goes, yeah, I'm aware of that. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. If you're going to go talk to a recruiter, I'm going to be there too. So I did. I went with the recruiter, and well, it only took about 3 weeks. She was in basic training, and yeah, she actually ended up getting that sign-on bonus too, by the way. So I learned that day you don't joke with Mrs. Chip, which is not true. I joke with her all the time, but yeah, that was quite the experience, let me tell you. And John, I think that's exactly what happened. I think you hit the nail on the head. Oh boy, I just smashed all my pieces. Ah boy, laid them all out and then I smashed them. John, I think that's exactly what happened, to be honest with you. I think that the recruiter wrote me off. I think once I went to MEPS, I think he decided that I wasn't worth it. And I think what happened is they have new goals. My wife's been a recruiter since then, and yeah, they have recruiting goals they got to hit every month. And I think the next month he wasn't doing so hot, so that's when he decided to fight for my waiver. And then yeah, I think he was just desperate. If he was serious, he would have kept you in the office after a while. Yeah, and I agree. He just wrote me off, man, and that's okay. I wrote them off too. And you know, after serious reflection, I have thought about it a couple times. How would my life would have been different if I would have joined the military? And seeing as they really didn't want me to do what I wanted to do, which I wanted to be air traffic controller, they wanted me to be a nuclear chemist on a nuclear submarine where you don't see civilization or have communication with anybody for literally months at a time. And so I am so glad I did not go that route. Because having a family is important, and I can't imagine having kids and not being able to communicate with them for months at a time, and also having a job where you can't even talk about what you're doing. I don't think that would have. I'm sure. Not just I don't think. I know that would not have brought me much happiness. So, in the end, I'm actually really happy that I did not join. And I know that sounds funny because a lot of people love serving their country, and I think I would have enjoyed that aspect of it, but I did not enjoy the aspect of my recruiter being a butthead. So, and I've lost touch with him. I have no idea how he ended up faring in life. We went our separate ways, and I never heard from him again. And I don't think that's entirely a bad thing, by the way. And this really, really sucks, guys. Oh, there it is. Good. I found it. I don't got to get up yet. I might have to get up at some point because I accidentally slapped my pieces on the table, which sent them flying, which is going to be a problem because I'm going to have to find them eventually, some point in this build. Boy, I really didn't do myself any favors, did I? All right. Well, I'm at this point I'm going to have to get up because I'm just missing pieces. So let me be right. I'm going to look real quick. I'll be right back. All right. And just in case you guys didn't know, I do have a Bricklink store. John, I know you know that. Greg, I know you know that. But I do have a Bricklink store, and I'm missing another piece. I'll be right back. Sorry. And I really am in a lot of pain, guys. That fall I took was really hard. So I have a Bricklink store, and that's partially what's keeping me afloat financially right now. But I'm not here to discuss all that. I'm just telling you, I have a Bricklink store, so if you need pieces, there is a link in the description to buy some. I'm usually, excuse me, really good about. Let me get a drink. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay. Just about drowned myself there, but woo. I did not help any. One second here. Okay, hopefully that's better. I actually started my Bricklink store because of Mrs. Chip. While I was going to college, I ordered like $800 of Legos, which is a lot now, but back then it was way more money because no one, less inflation. And well, let's just say I wasn't home to get the packages that day. I didn't know what day they were delivering it, and well, I had to go to school, and I think I had a midterm or something. But anyway, the moral of the story is she got home before I did, and she got all the boxes. Boy, was she mad. And she told me, she said, "You better not spend another dime of our money on this. You better find a way to make money off these Legos." And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I went ahead and I did some digging on the internet, found out, what I thought I could make money off of. And I went ahead and bought some sets, and I put them on eBay and started selling on eBay. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, you can make the claim I still don't know what I'm doing, and that's probably partially true. So anyway, I grabbed some sets, started selling on eBay. I'm gonna set this aside because we're gonna do the next level to this guy here, but looks like we got some sort of noodle shop going on, and I'm pretty sure we got to build the inside of this. I think that's what's next, but let's go ahead and do that. Like I said, I'm gonna set that aside. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, Bricklink. So I was selling on eBay for a while, about 2 years. And then I bought something for my personal collection off eBay. And when I did that, the guy included in the order a little card that said, "Hey, I also have a Bricklink store." And I had never heard of Bricklink. So I was like, what the crap is this? So I look at the card, and then I look over at the internet, and I look up Bricklink, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool little platform. So I did my research, and then I opened a store on Bricklink. So anyway, I started selling on Bricklink in 2008. And here we are, 2025, so almost 20 years later, and I'm still selling on Bricklink. Granted, I'm not going at it hard like I used to. I kind of slowed down quite a bit. If this job situation remains the same, I might just try to pick back up and do some more Bricklink to make it by. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. I really have genuinely no idea and no biases on how it should turn out. I just need to find a way to stay afloat financially. So that's one possibility is Bricklink. I'll tell you what's not a possibility is the gas station in this town. I tried that. I ain't ever gonna work there. Them guys are freaking stupid. Anyway, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word, but they sure the hell annoyed the knee. No breaks, 8-hour shift, not a single break. It's like, when do you expect me to go to the bathroom? When do you expect me to eat? Like, I was hungry. It was hard on me. Speaking of which, I shouldn't have said hungry because now I'm getting hungry. Anyway, I did apply at the grocery store here in town, and they sent me the lovely rejection letter. No idea why, but I'm hoping that I can reapply for something else. Maybe it was just that one position they didn't want me. But yeah, I'm looking into different jobs. I did apply. There's a hospital a little less than an hour away, and they had a position that I'd done for the hospital before I was in IT. And to kind of explain that, you guys have, we all been to a doctor's office. Well, believe it or not, more times than you can imagine, your claim gets denied. And you'll never know it because the hospital has people, and most doctor's offices do. They have people that's all they do is whenever a claim gets rejected, it's their job to figure out why it got rejected and to figure that out. And it's called insurance follow-up. And I've done that for the hospital before, and I was actually really good at it. I did it for workers' comp, which nobody liked to do workers' comp because everyone says, "Oh, it's so hard." It's actually really not. I loved it, and anyway. And there's many reasons an insurance company will deny stuff. I mean, I've seen that they're not the primary insurance. So that'd be like if you're married and your wife has a policy and they should have billed that one first. Now, a lot of times I've seen insurance companies deny a claim just because they say that they should have billed the primary, but they are the primary. They just don't want to pay it, so they drag their feet. Trust me. I've seen that many, many times. But anyway, there's also medical necessity. So, like, if your doctor's saying knee surgery when you got back pain, they're probably not going to cover it. And sometimes the insurance companies decide that it's not medically necessary, and it really is, and then you have to get a hold of the doctor, have them write a letter, do an appeal, whatever. And by the way, that one's always bothered me because insurance companies denying stuff because they don't feel it's medically necessary. It's like the people that make that decision, insurance companies, do not have a PhD. So it's like, what do you mean? You know better than a doctor? He don't need this. She don't need this. Yeah, I smell some bullshit. There's many reasons, like maybe the kids turned over 18 and got kicked off the insurance, but they still saw the doctor afterwards. Nothing we do about that. We just switched over to patient self-pay, and then they got to pay it. I will say that the hospital had 6 of those positions open where you follow up with insurance, and it was. I applied for 5 of the 6, and I'll tell you why. There was one position I didn't apply for, and that was for oncology cancer. I did follow up. I helped on a project for a few weeks when I was working for the other hospital, and doing the cancer follow-up, I did not like it at all. I'm going to tell you right now, I was telling you earlier that insurance companies like to deny things. They love, and this is just my personal experience, they love to deny things for cancer patients. You got someone who's dying, who probably will not be around much longer to dispute what you're doing, and so they deny it because the bill will go to the estate, and the estate will have to pay it. And trust me, they love that one. And I always felt bad about switching over a bill to self-pay, as they call it, where the patient has to pay it. Always bothered me with cancer patients. They're dying. The last thing they want to do is fight an insurance company. And here we are dealing with stuff where they're denying it just to deny it. I did not like it. So I did not apply for that position, but they had a neurology, they had a gastro, I can't remember what else. I think family medicine was one too. Anyways, they had positions open, and I applied. So that could be a real possibility coming up here soon. And I don't know why I just did that. I'm not following directions. Imagine that, a man not following directions. And John says, I'm still dragging my butt. John, I'm almost there with you. I'm retired myself. Oh, I just heard Max. Max is my son's cat, by the way. My son's cat, who kind of became my cat, because when my son left the first time, he left him behind. Max and I bonded, and now a lot of times Max wants to, he wants to be next to me a lot. And it kind of bothers Spencer. He's like, it's my cat. It's like, yeah, but I mean, what do you expect your cat to do? You left for 2 years. Of course your cat is going to attach to somebody else. And seeing as I'm the only one that was living here, he kind of didn't have a choice. Either he grew close to me or he wasn't getting any attention. Yes, John, snap is right. Make it snappy. Better than making it crappy. Sorry, that was a bad joke. Speaking of jokes, I do have a whole entire thing of jokes. If you're streaming Saturday, we can show. Yeah, I don't know, John, if I'm streaming or not. I only have tomorrow planned out, but if you'd like me to stream on Saturday, I can go ahead and do that. All right. This one. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Well, that's because he was outstanding in his field. Looking at this table, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but looking at this table, I've got another line of Lego to do. Yeah, it sounds like a drug reference, but it's actually not. It's truly, I've got a line of Legos laid out, one more. And that's all I got laid out, so I'll have to stop after I'm done with that. I'm not sure when I can do the next stream, because these streams take a lot of planning. When you're building a brand new set, it's pretty easy. You grab a set, you dump it on the table because in bags, so there's not that many pieces to look through. And it's kind of easy to do. This one, I've already built it, so because I've already built it, all the bags are in one big bag, and it takes a heck of a lot to go through all this and figure it out. So and I just don't know what kind of time I'm going to have today, the rest of the day. I know I've got stuff to do. like I need to do my Bricklink orders. I have not put those together just yet. And in addition, I need to do, got some tax work to do. The good old tax man got me this year. And talking about state taxes. So, not that this is really interesting, but I'm kind of over Idaho's state tax. And the reason I'm over it is I do have to kind of explain the law so you understand what I'm talking about. And I know that's not the most sexy thing to talk about, but let's talk about it anyway because, oh, damn it. Did I really do that? I did. Shoot. Well, we can fix that. Okay, so a military member in a lot of states doesn't pay income taxes in the state that they're in. Excuse me. They pay income taxes in the state that they, hey, Max. They pay taxes in, actually a lot of times they don't pay state tax at all because, well, for instance, if you're in the military and let's say that you're a resident of Idaho, but you're stationed outside of Idaho, well, Idaho's not going to tax you while you're out of the state. And then the state that you're in won't tax you because you're military and you're not considered a resident, so you don't pay taxes on that. Well, last year, I filed the taxes. I did it right. You know, I put both of our incomes on there. And then on the line that I was supposed to, I deducted it and took her pay out. And Idaho came back with a nasty letter saying, you owe us $3,000 because you didn't include her income. And it's like, yeah, no crap, I didn't. She's military. So I had to fight it. I fought it and I won. I kind of figured that because they're always sniffing for money, their government, I kind of figured it was going to happen again. And it did. And this year, they're telling me that I owe $900. So I prepared a letter. And because it's a joint return, I got to mail it to Miss Chip. She's got to sign it, and then she's got to mail it. And I hate fighting and stuff. Yeah, and Mayo says it's just waking up, and John says it's called an audit. Yeah, it is, but it's also BS that they keep sniffing around. Because, you know, if I filed it last year and I won, they should know that, oh, hey, this is a military family. They probably don't owe it, but they're just being dicks. Excuse my language. I don't like using language like that, but they're just being dicks. There's no reason to keep harassing us over it. And anyway, who gets the 5% military discount? Well, depends on the store, but I tell you what, there's some stores that give you 15 or 20%. Most of them is 10, but yeah, occasionally 5, depends. It is kind of funny because Chipotle, and I'm going to call them out for this, they do not offer a military discount, not even the one that's just outside Hill Air Force Base. I get the feeling they don't really like military, but I also really don't care. I wonder if baseball players go through the same thing. You know, John, I know that Columbus, Ohio, when I lived there, they tried that because they do the local tax, which I haven't lived in too many places that have done it, but Columbus is one of the places I've lived that does the local income tax on top of state and federal. And I know that when the Blue Jackets were playing, away teams, Columbus started going after those players that came and played a game in Columbus and going after their earnings while they were in Columbus and saying they owed them money, which That was really stupid. You're going to invite a team to play, and then you're going to go after them for taxes. Are we sore losers? Anyway, I don't know. But I thought it was dumb. In Futurama, Fry pretended to be in the military. Oh, you know what? I don't remember that, but I've seen all the Futurama episodes, and I love Futurama. Like, there's again, I feel kind of weird because I use language in my real life, but for some reason on YouTube I don't like using language. But I will say I thought that shit was funny on Futurama. The whole entire, I loved it. Futurama to me was just one of the best shows. I like the one where he finds out that he had $2 in his bank account while he was frozen all those years, and then he goes to the bank and it accumulated to like $1 trillion or something crazy. And then he uses most of that money to buy a can of sardines out of all things. Yeah, that show was off. Professor Farnsworth, the only living relative or distant living relative he had. You can ask me any question you want, as long as you don't ask about my eye. Oh, well, never mind. If you don't know, Layla's only got one eye. For those who don't know. I love that episode where they talked about her backstory, and it ended up that she was a mutant living underground, or her family came from, because at first they said, at first they said she was an alien, and then she ended up being one of the underground people that was a mutant. Anyway, if you know the story, you know that that's not really that off of that story. They were always doing off stuff in that story. Tom Toronto, how much would it woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know, but try saying she changes the sheets 5 times real fast. Hey, how you doing today, Tom? I'm just joking with you. All right. Well, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to try to lay out some more pieces. I'm going to try to do a live stream tomorrow, but please don't quote me on that. It really depends on how far I can get on this build. Oh, I forgot I got more pieces. What am I doing? I'm sitting there trying to put it on there. I'm not even done yet. But yeah, if I can get enough pieces laid out to this build, I'll do another stream tomorrow. It's going to be kind of hard, though, because I got stuff to do. And like I said, I hurt myself falling last night, so I'm extremely sore from that. But don't feel sorry for me. I'm a dumb butt. I shouldn't have fallen. It's totally preventable. Okay, so this is what we got so far, and this is all I got laid out. So I'm going to have to end the stream here, but I'm going to try my hardest to do a stream tomorrow, to do the next section of this. I really want to get this done. I have another one, the Ninjago City. I think it was the second one, because I think the docks was the first one they came out with. And I don't have that one, although it is available at Bricks and Minifigures, and I'm half tempted to go get it. But anyway, I have the Ninjago City I also have to build. That's the corner one. Anyway. I do remember that now. Fry and Bender joined the Earth Army just to get the military discount 5 seconds after they enlisted. The reincarnation of Richard Nixon declared war on the planet of bouncing balls. I love how Nixon, for most of the show, is just a head in a jar that talks. And they throw him those little, like, fish food flakes or whatever. Anyway, so I'll try to do a stream tomorrow morning of this. Tomorrow night, we're going to do the medieval seaside market thing, and that one, it'll be the last one. We'll be done with that. And then I don't know which one. I've got all of 5 of Series 4 of the Bricklink Designer Series program. So we're going to start another one of those. I kind of started working on the next level with the Avengers Tower, and I kind of gave up on it. Well, I didn't give up. I kind of just put it to the side for now because it's just, I don't know, so much going on. But all right, guys, be good to each other. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you on my next live stream.